Welcome to the INFJ Visionary broadcast. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. And the topic of today's broadcast is our relationship with the past, and I guess by extension, the present and the future. Now, I'm not an expert on, well, you probably already know that if you've caught any of my other broadcasts. I'm not an expert on anything other than being an INFJ, and I know a lot about that. And that is the basis of everything I say. In my experience, I don't have a real concrete relationship with the past. I do remember it, and of course, my conception of the past is the only conception of the past that I am aware of and know, but I can't help but notice when I look around to see how other people relate to the past, the things they say, and how they seem to be interfacing with it, that it's far more tangible to them. It's more real and present. To me, it's basically loose memories, associations, images, and I'll be honest with you, I don't really care that much about it. I do remember having a past, and I do remember how I felt about things at any given point in the past, especially when someone brings it up, but I don't actually spend a lot of time thinking about the past, other than maybe in the context of my artistic endeavors sometimes, and mostly that's from a standpoint of how I'm progressing. Now, that leads us to the now, right, which could be maybe even a better topic. You've got books like The Power of Now with Eckhart Tolle. And I read that book back when it came out. I thought it was quite a good book. And I think the younger me, that was probably about 25, 30 years ago, something like that. The younger me probably really needed to hear the message to dial in more to the present moment. But the present me doesn't have much of an issue with that. I'm occupying the present, and I think INFJs, when we have matured to a certain degree, we are comfortable with the present and live in it and are functioning and working in it. That said, we are pretty famous for being dialed into the future. And that is because of our cognitive stack and our ability to see patterns and trends as they're developing, not just in events, but also in the emotional states of people around us. And we can make predictions with quite good accuracy. It's not often that, personally, I'm very far off with most of the predictions I make. However, it's good to remember that I don't have a infinite ability to predict the past. Mostly my ability to predict the future, excuse me. Mostly my ability to predict the future is contingent on me caring about the things in the future. And obviously things I care about is my personal security, the continuation of my art, the continuation of myself, and that is, I think, something every human has in common, but we all manifest it in different ways. The way that manifests for the INFJ is by us making sure that we see what's coming and that we're clearly protected and covered for it. Now, getting back to the past, I can recall, there were times where, as I've just said, I don't have super laser etched memories of the past like my wife does. She remembers the past so clearly that remembering things that were traumatic will cause her to become upset all over again. So it's very real to her. The experience is very pressing and real. And she's an INFP, and I think that would have something to do with the introverted feeling looping off of her introverted sensing, right? I don't know much about those functions other than living with someone that uses them all the time, but that's my thought. For me, a lot of times what I've experienced, say with my family, getting to my point, is that they'll say, "Oh, do you remember when you did this and that and the other thing?" And I go, "No, I never did that." And you could logically argue, well, how do you know? You just said the past is a little bit fuzzy for you. Yes, that is true. But what is not fuzzy at all, even in the slightest, is the nature of my own reality. I haven't changed that much. I'm basically the same person I was when I was 17. I'm wiser, I have more experience, and I act from that gained experience. So I'm not exactly the same person, but inwardly I really pretty much feel that way, and I haven't changed. So when someone says, oh, you did this or that, what I can do is measure it against my knowledge of, would I do this or would I do that? And if the answer is no, then I will reject their recollection, because I have noticed that even people that seem to be very cognizant of past events, it's all kind of hazy for them too. I think they just fill it in, where I have never experienced this phenomenon with my wife, but I have experienced it with my family, where they say, you did this, you did that, and I go, no way, I never did. I would never have done those things, because that's not me, you know. Anyway, the past, of course, is not something you can change, and I think for the most part that's one reason we don't have much interest in it. It can't be changed. It's something to be remembered and built upon as we move towards the future. And we are very future-centric, but the future is basically just an extension of the present now. So if you want to engage in a perhaps more spiritual approach to life, it's really good to realize that the now is really the only time that's actually existing. The future is a potentiality. Granted, you may be able to forecast it with a fair amount of accuracy, but still potentiality, all sorts of things could go down that you could never conceive of. And the past, it's gone. You can't go there. And this leads us to another basic idea. One of the reasons why I think time travel is just, best left in fiction stories. It's not truly possible. It's not possible for us to physically go back into the past. Now, there may be, and I believe there probably is, something like Akashic records. I believe everything probably has been recorded by the universe, and that you can access any past event. The future, however, there's no way to go to the future because of the principle of free will, and free will is operative. I have had many discussions and arguments with people that think that free will is not a real thing, and I think they're just deluding themselves, because we make so many decisions every day. The fact of the matter is that how many, we make 10,000 decisions a day. Who knows? Of those decisions each day, maybe only 3 or 4 are significant, but each one changes the course or direction of our lives, and this is valuable to know. It's important to know, and to take responsibility for it. So you can't move into the future. You can't time travel there. It's impossible. It doesn't exist. It won't exist until humanity collectively makes all the decisions that will go into building it and creating it. But the now is actually can be fairly narrow or fairly broad. And that's really a matter of how you come to the now. And the best thing to do is just relax and enjoy the present moment, because it's the only time you can be alive. If you want to make contact with your creator, or the universe, that's the only time that you can. You cannot do anything in the past, and you can't operate in the future, but you can operate at the outside edge of the now, which is just about like the future if you think about it. And I believe that's a place we're very comfortable. Anyway, that's it for today's broadcast. Now, I'd love to know in the comments your thoughts about the past and your relationship to it. Do you remember the past clearly? Is this just me? Anyway, let me know. I would be curious to hear the take of any other INFJ out there. And until the INFJ Visionary comes back with another broadcast for your edification and enjoyment, take good care of yourself, INFJ. God bless you.